my name is Janess Vaughn and I am going to chat with you about kefir. I am a wife, a mom to 6 children. We live on 30 acres in East Tennessee and have animals and all the things. So we're really busy around here. You'll probably see kids running in and out at some point, so fair warning. I'm gonna talk to you about kefir. Kefir is yogurt's wild cousin. It is packed with probiotics and so good for your gut. We started making kefir when we got our first milk cow, which is about 10 years ago. So I was drowning in milk and I was trying to figure out ways to use it. And my sister, who got a milk cow 6 months before us, had kefir grains. And so I was like, okay, let's try this. And I have been making kefir ever since. So I make my kefir by the half gallon because of our family size, but you do not have to make it in this big of quantities. I'm gonna go over in this quick video just how to care for it, what it is, troubleshooting, all those things, and what milk to use, and how we use it in our everyday lives. Okay, so let's just start with what is kefir. If you're like, okay, I don't even know what you're talking about. So kefir is a fermented drink full of probiotics. Yogurt has a bunch of beneficial bacteria and probiotics, but kefir has more. It has 30 strands of beneficial bacteria. They support the digestive system, the immune system, your skin, your gut health. If you have kids that tend towards getting constipated, this also helps a lot. If you tend towards getting constipated, this is huge to add into your diet and really simple to maintain. You're not adding in something that takes a lot of work or expertise at all, which is nice. Because the fermentation process, kefir is low in lactose, which also a lot of people that can't have milk can actually handle kefir just fine, which is great. I use raw milk with mine, obviously, because I have a family milk cow. If you do not have raw milk, just get the best that you can. If you can get one that's not ultra pasteurized and not super homogenized, obviously raw is best, but if you can't get that, it's okay. You're gonna be putting these kefir grains into it, and the biggest thing is you want it to have something to eat, right? So you want to have full fat milk. So if you can also not get low fat milk. I don't remember what all the terms are because it's been so many years since I've gone to the store and bought milk because we've always just had milk come in, now all our milk shows up like this from our cows. So the kefir is rich in calcium, magnesium, vitamins. It has a ton of ready available nutrients. So it's a great thing to add into your diet. So let's get going. Alrighty, like I showed you earlier, this is my kefir. I actually intentionally let it sit longer than typical because I want to show you that it's still okay. Sometimes people will be scared oh no, I let it sit longer than 24 hours on my counter, but that's okay. It's the only thing you have to worry about is if it runs out of basically milk to feed off of and then the grains start to starve. But I have left mine on my counter. Like I said, I have 6 kids, so in postpartum seasons, sometimes this thing gets left out and it looks pretty funky, but I've been able to revive them just fine. And how I do that is I strain the grains, and I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. I strain the grains and I just put it into a half-pint jar of milk. I do that a couple days in a row to just help rehydrate them and try and bring them back to life. And if you don't know where to get kefir grains, first I would say check locally, check people in your church, check with people if you don't go to church, your co-op if you don't homeschool, just in your community, check with people because you'll be surprised how many people are like, oh yeah, I got kefir, just kind of like kombucha. Someone's probably gonna have a SCOBY because kefir grains multiply, so you keep having more. So if you don't know anybody that has kefir grains, you can get dehydrated kefir grains off the internet. There's on Etsy, on Azure Standard, which is a bulk food buying site. Actually, that is linked in my recipe that you're gonna be able to get for free below. So that's linked in there too. I have those references in my recipe down below. But if you leave it on the counter, all that to say is you're gonna be just fine. And it might be a little bit strong. So if you have livestock, we feed kefir not only to our family, but to our livestock because it's a great source of probiotics. So keep that in mind. If you don't have livestock, then just let that go in one ear and out the other. But all I am going to do is I am going to show you how I strain this and start a second batch. So I have a clean jar here that I'm gonna use, and I have my full jar of kefir here. So I'm gonna strain my kefir into a bowl, and then I use skim milk. I don't use whole milk. By all means you can, but with the raw milk, there's still a lot of fat in it. It's not the same as the like 0% milk from the store. So I'm gonna put my skim milk in here, and I'm going to add the kefir grains that I strain out of this jar and put into this one. So let me show you how I do it. All right, so it's super simple. All you're gonna need is a glass bowl or any bowl that you have. You're gonna need a strainer. And then some people will say that you will kill your kefir grains if you use metal. I read that when I first started out, and I've never had that issue. They're a lot more resilient, I think, than people think. So I'm gonna put my strainer in my bowl, and in that recipe link below, I have a whole supply list. On the top, you want a breathable lid on the top of your kefir. So, and I was gonna show you, because I let this go longer, you see how it looks on top? I'm not worried about that. It's gonna be just fine. But I use this a couple times. This is just a milk filter. Again, this is on the supply list, and it's breathable, and because we already have them, it's what I use. You don't have to use one of these. You can use a cheesecloth, anything that's breathable for the top. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this off in batches into here, and I am going to strain it through. You see how thick that is? So I'm gonna strain this and just kind of mix it around and let the whey and the kefir go through. You can actually use kefir to soak your grains or your beans the night before to break down that phytic acid. So I'm just going to strain this, and then I'll bring you back. Sometimes it takes a while for it to go through, but you're gonna see, you know what, I am gonna get a spatula because it's gonna be a little faster. So you can also use a spatula and just kind of push it through like that. Some people drink this just like this. When I've let it go too many days, then it's very tart. It's still just fine in a smoothie, or if you want to mix some a little bit of maple syrup into it, or some honey. Some of my kids, they can tolerate that just fine. Some of them like it more tart, and some of them do not. So you'll just have to see what works best for your family. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you back after I have this strained. Alrighty, so now I have it strained. You can see my grains. These are all my grains, and let me show you an up close view of them. I've got a bunch of grains in here, and I still haven't finished straining the entire thing. You don't need this many grains for your kefir, so you could even at this point take about half of them, and you can freeze them or dehydrate them just in case you ever accidentally miss them. Sometimes they can get really tiny. I don't know why. In summer, because my house is warmer, they tend to multiply and they're just happier. In winter, because my house is colder, I'm assuming that's basically why, they don't multiply as quickly. So I like to keep some that I've dehydrated or I've had in the freezer, just in case I accidentally, it gets tossed out, or, life happens, things happen. So, or if you meet somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, I need some kefir grains, you already have some ready to go, because I've done that many times. We run a herd share here, so people and other families that get milk from us, I always offer them kefir grains so they can have their own kefir going, because I know how much of a beneficial food this is for them and their family. So all I'm gonna do, you don't have to rinse this or anything. I'm gonna take my clean jar and I'm gonna pour these into my clean jar, and then I'm gonna put my skim milk over them. And so I'll put these in at the bottom and put my skim milk in. And then my kefir that I just drained off of this, so that white liquid is the kefir. You know, you've probably seen it at the grocery store and it's in like a little bottle. This is not flavored or anything. So I've got this and I'm gonna put my skim milk in it. But let me show you this first. So this is my kefir, and this is what I'm going to use to soak grains. You only need a little bit. I think it's like a 1/4 cup. I'm very bad at measuring things. I usually just go on a whim. But what I do is I transfer it. If I'm not using it right away, then I'll transfer it into a quart jar. And at this point, you can flavor it. You can, you know, blend it up with strawberries or fruit. You can blend it up with honey or maple syrup, and you can pour it into a quart jar and have it in the fridge to take out and pour a glass off of and sip on throughout the week. You really want to use it up within a week. But we use this for making ranch dip. We have like the herbs that we mix into a ranch dip, so it's a probiotic ranch dip. We use kefir in smoothies a lot, and then just like a shot of kefir, just to get probiotics into us. We do that, and we do the beet kvass. So I'm going to transfer this into a jar, and then I am going to add milk to this and get this one on the counter ready to go, so I can have another batch brewing. All right, so this is my milk I'm gonna use, and you see right here, if you get raw milk, you know how there's the cream on top and then the milk underneath, or the skim milk. This is from a cow we are calf sharing with, which means her baby is still on her, so we don't get that much cream. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the cream off and put that in a little jar. You can also ferment your cream right on your counter, and that is delicious. Total side note, nothing to do with kefir. But I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna pour this other milk. Look how beautiful that thick cream is. And it's so yellow because, well, one, she's a Jersey, and two, we have all that beautiful grass. We're moving them around on our property. Spring is a beautiful time. All right, so I'm gonna pull this cream off, save this for something else. I like to ferment my cream before I make my butter too, just because it's beneficial, and we're just trying to do what we can, right, to make sure we're healthy as possible. Okay, so I have my skim milk, and I'm gonna just pour it right over, just like that. Sometimes with these big batches, it is not that big of a deal if there's like a gap at the top of your jar. Ideally fill it to the top, but you see I still have more kefir I have not strained. So all I'm going to do is pour some more in and help speed up that process. Then I'm gonna take my breathable top and I'm gonna put it on. Then this is just a canning jar lid. They do make like fancy kefir little jars that have like a strainer on them, and you don't have to use the bowl and you can pour it off. That's linked below, but you don't need it. You really don't. This works just fine. So now this is gonna sit on my counter. Some other questions is, oh no, I put this next to my sourdough starter. Does that mean my sourdough starter is gonna be bad? Or there's lots of different thoughts of like different fermentation should be on different counters. I have them next to each other all the time, and I have not found it to be troublesome or an issue, so do with that what you want, but I just put everything on the island. So I'm gonna take this and put it into my quart jar, and I could flavor this, like I said, I could flavor this right now and put it in the fridge, but because it is warm here already in East Tennessee, I know that I'm gonna be using this for smoothies, and I'm gonna be using this for smoothies over the next couple days. I'm actually gonna make a smoothie right now with you with the rest of this. So I'm going to filter the rest of the kefir from this jar, and then I'm gonna make a smoothie for my children with it, because that is one of their favorite things, is a kefir smoothie. Now, if you're trying to heal your gut, then sometimes the smoothies, by adding like, you know, the fruit from the natural sugar from fruit, may not be the best. For us, that's just how we get it down. So now that I have this all ready to go and I'm sitting it on the counter, how long until I get to this step where I'm skimming it? I actually have a video of after 24 hours that I'll show here, and it was still very liquidy. It was not, it had not thickened up a lot, like as much as I like it to. So all I did was pour all back into the jar and let it go another 24 hours. You can still use it when it's that liquidy, but if it still smells sweet like the milk, then you know it hasn't finished breaking it down. And if you are somebody that struggles with lactose and you're experimenting with this for your gut, having it go a little bit longer isn't gonna hurt anything. All right, so I just wanna show you, they're just like little, like, do you see them? They're squishy, and when they are starving, they're not gonna be squishy like this. They're going to be like thin, and that's when they can like slip through our strainer and we lose them and we're like, oh crap, we need to find somebody with kefir again. So with these extra grains that I did not put into my original batch, I am actually going to feed these to my chickens because it's beneficial for their health too, just like it is for us. We feed them to our cows. Because we run a holistic farm and we try as best we can to use food to help our animals and help us, I utilize kefir a lot. So let's make a smoothie with it, and I'll bring the kids in so they can taste test it. As I get this smoothie ready, something I almost forgot about to share with you is how beneficial kefir is to your skin. So not an opened wound. If you have an irritation or like some sort of rash or anything, you can actually apply kefir topically just like that to it. It really is amazing and helps with your gut and your whole body. It's super versatile. You can use as much or as little kefir as you want in the smoothie. Obviously, the more that's in there, the more probiotics. I like to add beef gelatin. Beef gelatin is a great source of collagen, so obviously organic fruit or whatever fruit you can find. I wanted to show you my fruit. I do have some organic fruit, and then I also have non-GMO. One of our buying clubs that we buy from, they had this for a really good price for a case of it, and so I got it. And so this whole summit is about doing the best you can with the budget that you have, and we have 6 kids. We are a one-income family. My husband has his own business, and so I try to buy organic as much as I can, but when there's a good deal and I can get non-GMO, there's no added sugar, there's no preservatives in these, just, you gotta do the best you can with the resources you have. So don't feel bad about that. If you're not able to buy all organic or anything, we're all just trying to do the best we can, right? You know, another fantastic thing, if you follow me over on social media on Instagram, you can cook these down, any frozen fruit, add some honey and put it in your dehydrator or your oven at the lowest setting and make your own fruit leathers. Okay, so I got my fruit in here and I'm just gonna add a little bit of milk, a little bit of honey. You can do honey or maple syrup, and my beef gelatin. You can add greens if you're gonna add greens to it, and mix this smoothie up and feed it to my kids. Alrighty, and if you do add beef gelatin to your smoothies, just keep in mind that you wanna add it at the end because you can get it can get kind of gummy, and my kids don't like that. So I always make sure all my fruit is mixed up and then I add it in. That beef gelatin makes it quite thick. So let's see if I can. My kids call this ice cream. So they like it. They like it nice and thick. So this is just one of the ways you can use kefir. You can use it on your skin, like I said. You can use it as a shot, just add a little bit of honey to it. You can ferment it with just strawberries or just your fruit of choice. Blend it up in the mixer with your frozen fruit and then pop it back in the fridge. You can replace your buttermilk with it in recipes. You can use it when you soak your grains for the recipe the next day. Ideally, you soak at least 8 hours. Actually, I think it's more like 24 hours, but anything helps. Sometimes we have this all or nothing mentality, and then it makes us scared to even start at all, because it's like, unless we can do all of it perfectly, then I don't want to do any of it, which just holds us back. So, you know, do the best you can. But I'm gonna go bring these to my kids.
Yeah, got me, Mom.
Do you like your smoothie? So there you have it. Kefir is not just a probiotic powerhouse. You can use it for soaking grains. You can use it in your dips, on your skin for irritations. It's so versatile, easy to make, and easy to keep alive. If I can do it with 6 kids, you can do it too. So if you haven't already, go follow us on Instagram and follow along with our family on YouTube. I share over on both of those platforms, and I'd love to connect with you. I hope that you get so much out of this free summit and you feel empowered to feed your family well and feel like you can do it with the means that you have. So until next time.